Hi everyone, I'm Barbara from Bavaria and this is Mrs. Faraway Stitches, my channel about cross-stitch. If you are new today and we meet the first time, welcome to my channel. I hope you like what you see. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and spending a little bit more time with me at my dining room table. And you see, I'm back in our dining room after a little excursion to my study in my last video. I hope that will be better for the light and also for the sound. So it's my usual setup with my iPhone. Thank you so much for all your kind comments and mentions. Be assured I will thank you personally as soon as I have watched all your Flosstubes, which didn't happen during the last 2 weeks. Today we have a splendid sunny Whitsun Sunday. It's supposed to be 30 degrees and summer has arrived, obviously, which is quite stunning because last week I was on booth duty at a big outdoor convention and we had 7 degrees, wind and rain. So we are very happy that that has changed at last. For today, there are 2 things I want to show you. First, a special treat for myself. I was at my framer on Friday and I got 6 fully finished objects, which I want to show you. And then, of course, all the things I've stitched on during having fun in May in the last 2 weeks. I had the best plans to post every week and to have an Instagram post every day, and it just didn't happen. I knew that May would be a very, very hard and busy month. It's every year like this. This year it was much more so because of that big convention in my diocese. And then, of course, because that's never enough, it was a very busy time in my family as well. That's just what happens if you have elderly parents. And so there was no video last week. There weren't any Instagram posts. But today I'm back and I hope we will share a little bit of stitching fun. So let's see if you like what my framer has done. The first one I wanted to show you is this one. It's Primrose Cottage Spring Blessings. And I received it in the newsletter. I think it was the newsletter freebie in March or February, I'm not quite sure. But I really liked the purples and the lilac colors and those little bees. They are so sweet. And this is what my framer has done with it. He usually paints the frames so that it does fit the colors in my pictures. And I really like this way of framing. Every frame is hand painted. Really sweet. Can't wait to have it on my wall. It's stitched with DMC. This is DMC. Usually Primrose Cottage uses color and cotton, I think, but I can't get it here in Germany, so I usually just take the DMC conversion. And it's just a light blue Ada from Zweigart. The second one. Oops. Wrong side. Every year my husband gets a little picture for Valentine's Day, and this was this year's picture. It's Primrose Cottage again. It was the January freebie in the newsletter, and I really liked the soft colors, the blues, the turquoise, the pinks, the red, and I'm not quite sure if you can see it, but it is stitched on opalescent white Ada and has really some sparkling in it. And of course, a painted frame again. So can I have that straight? There's a little bit of glare from the window if I get it straight. Really sweet. And the next one might be my favorite of this batch of 6 fully finished objects. This is the little fox from Puntini Puntini from the Winter Animal Trio. And the frame is painted to fit the little fox, the colors of the little fox. It's a little bit muted, so the fox really springs into your eyes. It's really, really pretty. I think you can't see it really, but the snowflakes, they just look like they pop from the well, that's a dark gray vintage Zweigart linen. It's printed, and I think that must be the sweetest little fox I've ever seen for cross stitching. And the next one, another favorite. Well, all of my pieces are favorites, of course. Jurassic Park Coffee Company brewed to extinction by Silver Creek Samplers. It's just an ivory Ada stitched with DMC. And it's really, really funny. And I love dinosaurs. I'm not quite sure where this will end. Probably in my new office at work or in my den, in my study here in the house. But it will hang very soon. And by the way, the fox is stitched with DMC as well, and only the green of the leaves, those little leaves, this is a color of Weeks Dye Works. Well, have another look at my sweet and funny little dinosaur. There is a little theme going on. I love dinosaurs. And now I have 2 bigger pictures, well, big, what's big for me? And they have their dedicated painted frames as well. The first one is this one, Summer Refreshes from Summerhouse Stitch Works. It's stitched on a 32 count vintage Dune linen with DMC. Only 3 colors, like all of those pictures. There are 4 in the set. For every season, and she has made some about beautiful words like hope and faith, but I think they are not vertically but horizontally striped. Not quite sure, but they are very beautiful, and I have them, and I intend to stitch them at any point in my life. And I like that spring green, summer green, muted frame very much. I think that's perfect. And the last one and biggest one is Cottage Garden Samplings, Summer at the Shore. It's part of A Time for All Seasons. And I've stitched at it a lot in my holidays because, of course, it's a maritime motif, and it's stitched with 2 fancy flosses, and the rest is just DMC on Picture This Plus 32 count Ancient. And the frame depicts the different colors in the waves. So it's not a solid color, but it has several colors in it. And this will be in my dining room, so perhaps you will see it next time, perhaps not, depending on where I hang it. But it perfectly fits the maritime motifs I have in my dining room. So, just tell me, what's your favorite of my 6 fully finishes? Do you like the frames? Do you like the motifs? And which one is just your favorite? Do you think my framer has done a good work? I think so. And by the way, all of the pictures have museum glass, so a special glass, so that they don't fade and don't glare that much. Let's come to our second part for this video. Having fun in May 2026. As I've told you, it was not an easy month for me till now, but I'm really proud. At least I've stitched every day on my dedicated project. And I've even had 2 new starts. So let's see what we've done since the last time. I have to admit that there were days when I really had to force myself to take my project into my hands and make at least 1 stitch. And the first one I want to show you is exactly such a thing. I was tired, it was late at night, I didn't have a good light, and I had a dark fabric, but I tried, at least I tried. It's the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And it's the Arctic Animals Club. I started it as a soul and of course didn't, I just did not really start it well 2 years ago at Having Fun in May. And that's where I am. So it's a 32 count. That's not a linen. That's is that a linen or an even weave? No, it is a linen. It is a linen. It's dyed by a German dyer, and it's really pretty and beautiful. And I've just forgot the name. Should have looked it up before, but I didn't. And I have to admit, everything I've stitched on it are 2 little blue stitches here. And there's the rest of the thread. I haven't finished the thread. Usually I try to at least finish my thread. Not at this evening. I was really exhausted and I really couldn't see the holes, and so this is everything I did. But at least I tried. I took it into my hands, I took it into a frame, and then I put it away. Number 2, Barbara Anna Designs Sailing Dreams. A really wonderful picture. And I like watching people stitching Barbara Anna. I myself have a few of her patterns. I've got Cleo and I've got Mrs. Claus and a few more, but I don't know how to put this. I don't think it's fun to stitch them. I don't know why. The colors are beautiful. A little bird's nest, like always. They are absolutely beautiful. And that's what I've done in 3 years. That's not really something to be proud of. I just don't have fun stitching it. I don't know why. It's a nice fabric. It's a 32 count linen. It's opalescent. And it should be really a quick stitch, a fun stitch. Others finish such a piece in a few weeks. I needed 3 years for this because I just don't grab it and I don't like to stitch on it. And I don't know why that is, because I really like the colors, I like the fabric, and I like the style. If you have experienced something similar, And if you have an explanation for that, just tell me. I really would like to know. Next one, Northern Lights by Gold Collection. This is my working copy. The original was too big to fit into my bag, so I made a copy just to be reminded on how it looks when it is finished, which will be in 2040 something. It's a Dimensions Gold kit with all those pretty Dimensions threads. I think they have their own threads. I think they are not DMC or Anchor or something like that. And it's stitched on a blue-gray, I think it's a 16 count Ada. I started it in May 2024. And I've started it then as a new start for having fun in May, because there were Northern Lights here. If you remember May 2024, we had the most beautiful Northern Lights till far in the south of the continent. They were absolutely wonderful, and it was the very first time I've seen Northern Lights. I never had that luxury. I've never been so far in the north to see them, and the whole sky was just lilac and red and green, and it was just so impressive. Nature is a stunning artist, and I actually had planned another start for this day, but when I saw those Northern Lights, I decided to change it and have a motif that depicted Northern Lights. And that's how far I've come. It's actually quite fun to stitch it. I just haven't done a lot. And that's how it may look when it is finished. Right. There are flosses. These are the pretty flosses. I think I haven't shown them to you. The wonderful flosses for the Arctic Animals Club. And those absolutely pretty. There are Northern Lights in it as well. On the top. Next one. There we go. This is what I've done at Avalon. Here is the picture. It's from Little Stitcher, an Italian designer who sells on Etsy. I've got tons of her patterns and I really like them a lot. And this is Avalon. And I've started this when I just came back to stitching in 2022. And then I watched all those Flosstubes and everyone was stitching on 40 count. And 40 count, that's just brilliant. You use only one thread and you have tiny, wonderful, elegant stitches. And the pictures don't get that big. Wonderful. And I thought this is the thing to do. But I probably didn't think that my eyesight isn't that good, and actually I can't stitch on it in winter. I can only stitch with very good light and a magnifier, and this is the only piece I've. At the moment I'm stitching on 40 count, so it's very hard for me to stitch on it, and that's really a pity because I like it very much. Look how wonderful and delicate she is. And of course the story is just stunning. Morgan Le Fay and Vivian of the Lake, which is the second there are two persons on it. Really beautiful, and I've got two other pieces from the same designer depicting scenes from Avalon. Morgan the Fairy parting the mists on a boat, and another one, but I don't think I will stitch them on 40 count, but I will change to 32 count even if they are not the same size when they are finished. The fabric I used is Marble Newcastle by Leonora. It's of course Zweigart based, and it's a really softly modeled beige, which fits perfectly, but I just have a hard time stitching on it. Okay, next one. Eva Rosenstand. She doesn't name the patterns, but I call them the parrots. And these parrots are a wish of my husband. He requested it to have it stitched for him because he likes parrots and he likes those really bold colors. And so I did it. I bought it. I'm not quite sure. Might be in Denmark or at an online shop. I'm really not quite sure right now. There are a ton of really beautiful colors. I've got three different cards full with colors. And actually, this is a bed sheet. The fabric is just huge. You can't really see it because I've rolled it on my frame, but it's huge. This is the width, and you can easily see that it's much higher than its wide. So this is really a bed sheet, and this is everything I've stitched. I started it last year, and this is the second year I'm stitching on it. I haven't touched it since Having Fun in May last year, but it will be brilliant once it's finished, which will probably not be in this century or millennium. Well, just let's see. Next one, another one I can't be proud of. I don't even have a picture of it because it didn't have a picture, but it was a little Sal, Little Seasons Birds. You can buy it on the web on Etsy in the meantime. It's from Little Stitcher again. I like her stuff, and these birds are just sweet. These are the colors I'm stitching with at the moment, and well, actually I've stitched only on white till now. And this is everything I've done, and actually I am really impressed because this year I've done a lot in here, and that's more than I stitched before in 2 years. It will be nice, it will be colorful, it will be 4 nice little birds at some point in my life. And the next one is really one of my favorites of Having Fun in May. It's a Nora Corbett, and it's called Ophelia's Pearl. Many of you may know this. Absolutely pretty piece. It's of course a mermaid, and what I really like about it, it's not the classical blue and gray colors, but this bright oranges and pinks and yellows, and that really is quite stunning. And I've done quite a bit. There are absolutely wonderful colors. Look at this orange and those pinks and purples and browns. Really stunning. There are a few beads, glass seed beads, Mill Hills. They look like this. And of course, I'm not yet beading. And it's stitched on Richard Water Lily, which is a soft green that absolutely beautifully contrasts the oranges. 32 count, that's the called for. So everything is called for, the DMC, the beads and the fabric. And that's where I am. And I've worked on this side, this whole fin or whatever it is what I've stitched. There were only a few stitches here and everything else I've done, which is not a lot, but on the other hand, it was only one day, and as I said, the days weren't easy for me. And now the last one of the week number 2 of Having Fun in May. It's the Titanic. You have seen it before because I had it as a whip go. Here she is. Here she sails. I'm stitching that for my husband because he likes everything transport. He likes ships, he likes planes, he likes, especially he likes trains. And so I bought this in Scotland when we visited Edinburgh, and it will be great. It's stitched on 28 count even weave. It's a white even weave. I don't know the make because it doesn't tell. It's a kit, and that's what I've achieved. I filled in a lot of white spots in here, and I've stitched over here and a little bit over here. Actually, this is one of the pieces I stitched the most during Having Fun in May, because it was a Saturday where I was not on duty, and so I had time for it. And I really like stitching on it because it's a very easy and quick stitch because of the 28 count. Right. I'm going to get my second part for week number 3, and we'll meet again quite soon. So, I've brought out everything for the 3rd week of Having Fun in May, and let's start with last Sunday. Last Sunday, my project was the blue flower, the Tudor bee. This has everything I love to stitch because it's very elegant, it's stitched with silks, and it has a historical motif. I'm somewhat of a history nerd. Everybody who knows me knows that I like to talk about history a lot. I've studied history at university amongst other subjects, and it's become one of my biggest hobbies besides cross-stitching, and I'm especially keen on English history of the Middle Ages, starting from the Anglo-Saxon times right up to the Tudors. That's my special field of interest, and so of course this is very, very much fitting. And this is where I am. It's so pretty. And I've only stitched a few red stitches right here last Sunday. There wasn't more time because I had to prepare for a very busy Monday. And so this actually I've stitched a little bit more. There was some red over here, which was the wrong one. Because I wasn't concentrated and I stitched the wrong color, so I had to pick it out. But actually, that would have been 20 more stitches perhaps. But isn't this pretty? And it's stitched on Edinburgh Little Lamp from Barbara Creations, which is a beige mottled linen 36 count. There is a very soft modeling in it. It is a little bit pinkish pinkish, not really pink. And Barbara Creations is a fabric dyer that is based in Hungary. And I really like her stuff, her fabrics, and also her threads she dyes. It was my New Year's start in 2024. And it would be really nice if I could finish it in 2026. And it's stitched with needle paint silks, which is very, very nice because it's silk, but it's solid colors. And so you can stitch one row forth and back. So you don't have to stitch every single stitch. Wonderful. Very muted colors, very, very historical. I like that. Then the next one I've stitched was my very first Carolyn Manning, and there is post-it. We don't need that. My very first Carolyn Manning, it was Tent Maker Smalls, May, which I started last year. And of course it was very fitting for having fun in May. As it says, it's a small one, and I've somewhere lost my board. So I have a thread because I want to know where is up and where is the bottom. And I have only stitched a little bit of this, well, pastel orange over there and over there. It was only one evening. It was fun because it is an easy stitch, and I think I like that geographic style of Carolyn Manning. Actually, it's very hard to get her new patterns in Europe because she doesn't sell to Europe anymore because of restrictions and new laws, which is quite a bummer. But I've got a lot of her older ones from times when this wasn't the case. And this is what I've stitched. Wonderful, slightly muted summery colors. Yellow, purple, blues, greens. Really nice color palette. And it's just DMC on white Ada, and this is 16 count, I guess. Right, next one. Another Nora Corbett. Glittering Leaves. Another new start from last year. Is that true? Yes, that's true. For last year. And if I think that I only started it last year, I'm quite far in it already. It's wonderful. It's only one color of beads. They're here at this. Is this a magic wand or something? And there are two colors of beautiful, beautiful silks. Water lilies. And I have to show them to you. They are so beautiful and they are so vibrant. This is the first one. It's Tequila Sunrise. Goes from pink to yellow and orange. And that's the second one, which is Hot Peppers. So, so beautiful. And this is purple and red and a little bit of yellow. Wonderful silks. Don't you think so? Water lilies are really, really wonderful. Only perhaps, I do prefer perhaps Gloriana, but they are very hard to come by at the moment. And there are also beautiful DMC colors in browns, in orange. Of course, it's an autumn picture. And so this is where I am. And I've worked on this upper part and a part of the arm. Can't really see that very much. It's really better to see if you look at it directly and not through the camera. But this will be very, very pretty. And the fabric is a 32 count linen from Zweigart, of course, and it's a natural linen with golden specks. So it's really, yeah, I think you can really see it. It sparkles, it has a little golden sparkle, which lends itself perfectly for an autumn picture, I think. I really like that very much. It's a very warm tone. Usually the opalescents are greenish or silver, but this one is golden. I had to make a little cut because my husband just came home from his Sunday morning leisure, and he made a lot of noise actually. So I had to stop and restart now. Well, last week was the week with my 2 new starts for Having Fun in May. If you have followed my Having Fun in May, you know that I do it like this. I have a dedicated whip on every day in May. And if I manage to finish it from one May to the other, I can have a new start. And last year I had 7 new starts. But this year I had only 2 free spots for new starts, and because and of course they were actually on 2 following days. Last week that was very busy anyway, and so I decided to have only small new starts. And the first one is Permin, and it doesn't have a name. At least I haven't seen one. No, there is no name on it. So I call it just Boats and Flowers. A very pretty, actually it's a full coverage, but it's very, very small. It's only 13 to 18 centimeters. And it's on a, I think that's a 14 count. No, it's a 16 count Ada. And I like the blues, I like the reds and the purples of the flowers. It will be very pretty. And these are the colors. I think Permin is working with DMC. So this might be DMCs. Not a lot, of course, because it's a rather small picture. And this is where I am. No, this is where I am. This is where I am, and this is already the one side. And there is not a lot to do over here, so it's really a small picture. And I might be able to finish it in a decent time. And it's really fun to stitch. It's something you can take for holidays, because there is not a lot of it's not big. You don't need a big frame. You have only 1 card of colors. So that would be a perfect piece to take it for our journey to our holidays. You might have heard in the meantime that I like to spend my holidays in southern France, and that we usually have 1 night on the journey. We drive 2 days, and that means that I always like to have something small with me. And I think this will be the piece that I use this time. Till the last holidays, I had the summer refreshes that I showed you fully finished now. And the second new start is a Bothy Threads kit. This is, of course, a kit, and the next one is a kit as well. It's from the Minuets series. I've done another Minuets with a flowering tree, a blooming tree, and that's at the framer at the moment. It's called Brookside. And the Minuets are very, very small, and they are usually on that printed blue Whisper Ada from Zweigart. And this is everything I have. I just made a small start, which is, if you look at the picture, somewhat here. There is a tree, and the dark green, that's where I started. And it will be very pretty. I like those minuets, and I think I want to have more of them. Next one. Well, here are the colors. I'm not quite sure which colors they are. I have bought the threads that are working with Madeira, but I think this might be Anchor. Not quite sure. Do you know that? Just tell me. And I'm a little bit stunned because there is silver thread. There is some sparkly silver thread that I think has to go into the water, which will be extremely pretty. Let's see how it turns out. Usually they are a very quick stitch. They are really, really small, 10 by 10 and on 14 count Ada. So that usually really is a quick stitch, even for me. And that says something. Yeah. Next one. I need my board because this is a bigger one. We had a dinosaur already today, and this is my second dinosaur picture. Of course, I've nothing ironed. I don't iron before they are finished. And this is Rioli's kit. It's called The Era of the Dinosaurs. And that's what I have. And you might be stunned because of the really bright colors. And that's what the picture is. It's all about bright colors. Isn't that the sweetest dinosaur picture ever? Usually you think about olive greens and browns and blacks perhaps. But this one just both with that green and blue for the dinosaur. What I've stitched is around here. I show it to you later on, and then all those. This is a volcano, and there are the clouds in pink and yellow, and a big whatever that lizard is. I've never heard of a lizard that looked like a butterfly, but probably there is one. That's an explosion of colors. And the most stunning dinosaur stitching I've ever seen. And when I saw it, I immediately had to have it because I like dinosaurs, which you know. And if you have a look at those colors, they really don't look like anything from the Trias time. They're just bright and fun. And actually with the Ada, it's a fun stitch, and it will be really, really nice, but it's also a big one. So you see, that's a rather big piece of fabric. And well, actually I'm always very, very happy if it pops up as my WIPGO, or which has been this year, and it's already come up, or if I just get my hands on it. And the last one, the one I've stitched on yesterday, totally different theme. Les brodeuses parisiennes, un jour à Paris en été, a day in Paris in summer. There is a series of it as well. I've got every part of the series, but this is the first one I'm stitching. It's also the WIPGO piece for this month, which I'm very happy about, because having a new piece every day in a very busy month, and having WIP go as well is always a little bit of a challenge. And actually, the second WIP go piece is not one of my pieces for having fun in May, and I have to think when I can fit it in during the next week. But this is a very sweet picture. I like the lilacs over here. There is, of course, the Tour Eiffel and that nice Parisian girl, the roses, and she has that really beautiful 50s dress. It's kind of 50s, I think. And of course, Les Brodeuses Parisiennes, they have a lot of pictures with ladies in classical dresses from the 50s, from the 60s. And well, this is especially beautiful and has especially nice summer colors with the blues and the purples. And that's where I am. Oops. Just fell down, my pattern just fell down, but that's not a problem. And that's where I am. Not a lot done, but I think I'll take it to my holidays to southern France. It makes somehow sense to me to stitch a French motif in France, and I've worked on her clothing here and here at the skirt. Well, obviously it's a dress, but the skirt of the dress, I mean, of course. So this will be really pretty and beautiful, and it's stitched. Let me have a look. It's, of course, DMC, and it's stitched on Vigil linen in antique white. And I started it last year during Having Fun in May, on the 23rd of May. And I haven't finished it till now, and won't finish it this year. Well, that was everything for Having Fun in May for week 2 and week 3. And everything I have to say to you is that I really hope that I can come back next week. It won't probably be the weekend because we are planning to visit our son in the Netherlands, but probably during the week after the 1st of June. And that would be nice to finish, to wrap up Having Fun in May for you. There won't be any Instagram posts, I'm afraid, but at least I've shown you a little bit on YouTube now. And well, everything I have to tell you is that I'm so happy that you spent a little bit of time with me on that glorious Whitsun Sunday morning. We have really wonderful blue skies. It should have a little bit of rain in the afternoon, but I think after having 30 degrees at midday already, we will manage a little bit of rain quite well. And well, have a wonderful time. Take care, stitch on, and see you soon in my dining room in Bavaria. All the best to you. Bye bye.